Hello and welcome to a new and maybe a little bit different review. We are in the Christmas time, and back in the day Herpa didn't just do their Christmas models, which they of course are still doing to this day. No, they did also actually release advent calendars. And while I've never bought any of these advent calendars, over the years I have bought several models, and kind of by accident, I ended up buying all the items that had been within one of these calendars. And then also kind of by accident, because I was buying a few things for my Cardiff series, I ended up with the actual box of one of these calendars. So it is my absolute pleasure to introduce you to the Advent calendar from Herpa Wings of the year 2007. So this Advent calendar contains 3 aircraft models and 1 hangar. There's actually also, or there used to be, a mat included as well. I don't have the mat. There was a ground foil for a small airport setup. But the most important thing, the 3 aircraft models and the hangar that I have. And in today's video, we will take a look at doors 1 and 2, and that will be an aircraft model and the hangar. And with that, once more, hello and welcome to this a little bit different review. Now, the most important thing about this set is the fact that all items inside it were exclusively sold within this calendar, so you could not buy them separately. On the back side of the box, we then get a bit more background information about the calendar. If you are interested, you can pause the video, but the most important piece of information in this little text here is simply the fact that this calendar was limited to 1,250 items. But now let's check out what's behind door number 1. And here we find this little Dornier Do328 jet of Welcome Air, a now defunct Austrian carrier that operated mainly out of the Austrian Alps, flying tourists to ski destinations. Now, the Dornier is obviously a small aircraft in real life, and in scale 500 absolutely minuscule, but nonetheless we should take a closer look at the model to see what Herpa's actually managed to do with this little airframe. And the best way to do so is by starting off our tour with a look at the tail section, where we on the vertical stabilizer find the Welcome Air branding. On the fuselage we then find the door to the cargo compartment, the full registration code of the aircraft and the Austrian flag. We do also have a bit of detailing around the back of the aircraft. We have this little grey knob on top of the tail. I do believe this could be a strobe light or at least some form of positioning light. At the front of the cabin we find the front cabin door, and here we have on the left side the aircraft type specification. On the right side we have some more writing, which however was difficult to make out. On the real aircraft it did say Aurora, which I believe could be the name of the aircraft. Underneath the cockpit windows we have the Welcome Air branding once more, which leads us to the cockpit section itself, which consists of the cockpit windows. Unfortunately no window wipers, but above the cockpit windows we have the emergency hatch for the cockpit printed on. On the nose it does look like there's a little yellow U printed on, but I could not make this out on the real aircraft, or at least not on the images I found here, so this might just be a misprint. Moving on to the engine nacelles, which have been kept in this dark purple color like the belly of the aircraft, and has the silver leading edge printed on, as well as the Welcome Air branding. Of course, given the size of these engines, the physical detailing is at a bare minimum, but when we look into the engines from the front, we can see Herpa has at least added the spinner. Then we can also take a quick look at the landing gear. I think the main landing gear Herpa has done very nicely. The front landing gear, if we are very critical, we could say that Herpa has perhaps made it a little bit oversized, but given the size of this aircraft model, I think they are doing pretty well. I don't think they could have made it much smaller, to be honest. Then we can also take a quick look at the wings here on the top side, where we have some nice physical detailing, and also here on the underside, here we also find the full registration code of the aircraft once more. And now let's look behind door number 2. And here we find this lovely little hangar. Now, as I say, all these items inside the Advent calendar were exclusive to the Advent calendar, and especially when it comes to this hanger, I think this is a huge shame, because I'm pretty sure quite a few collectors would love to have such a hanger in their setup, because it is genuinely really, really nice. What I quite like about this hanger is the fact that when we look at the side walls, or for example the doors at the front, there are not just flat surfaces, but we have these indentations which just give the building a nicer look. It looks more realistic. Also, when it comes to the print quality on this little hanger, yes, there are some prints, but I think overall, even though the prints on the hanger are fairly simplistic, I think Herpa has done a good job with it. It does at least look pretty nice when you look at the hanger here from a little bit of a distance. But even if you look closer, you can see Herpa has done well. There are no smudges, nothing is off angle. It is printed on just as it should be. And just as it should be could also be the summary for the roof construction. Fairly simple, but again, it has a nice look to it. Now, given that I bought this secondhand, I can't with 100% certainty say how it arrived originally, but it does appear like it was mostly assembled. So the only thing you really had to do was attach these bars to the roof construction and then attach the doors to the front of the hanger. Now, when I got this hanger, there were 2 doors. But I can't say with 100% certainty that this were all the doors that came with. Maybe there were 4 doors and I just was unlucky and got only 2 doors. But in any case, you should have at least 2 doors, and the ones that I have here I think look brilliant. So what can we say about doors 1 and 2? Well, behind door 1 we of course had the Dornier of Welcome Air. And I really do like Herpa's little Dorniers. Yes, they are tiny, so the amount of detailing that can be added in Scale 500 is limited. But I actually think that, especially when it comes to the physical detailing, Herpa has done a very good job with this tiny little aircraft model. When it comes to the print quality, this was very much in line with the standard of Herpa Wings back in 2007, but I don't think it was bad for a tiny little aircraft like the Dornier. We have pretty much all the details we need, at least, to make it out as an aircraft model. And we have some lovely print, so the execution of the print is also very nicely done. If the livery is something for your taste, that's of course a whole different story. The Welcome Air livery uses some, let's say, unique colors, but still it can be a nice little colorful dot in one's collection. When it comes to the hanger, I must say, I think this is the biggest shame that this was an exclusive set, or exclusively for the Advent Christmas calendar. Now, you could actually kind of detach pretty much all the parts. I don't know why this would be necessary, but it is possible. Overall, I really like this little hanger, but of course the biggest question is, where can you really use it? I mean, obviously it does fit the Dornier, that can easily go into the hanger, but the hanger can actually fit aircraft all the way up to about an A320, and although it does look like the A320 here is touching the roof, it doesn't. There is not much space, don't get me wrong, it just about fits in. It does not touch the roof, even though it does look like it. But that's also really the largest aircraft you can fit into the hangar. An A321 would already be too long for this hangar. So there we have it, a nice little aircraft model, and in my opinion a very cool little hangar. What do you think about this kind of advent calendar from Herpa Wings? Do you think this is something they should be doing again? Personally, I think this could be a nice idea, of course, if the price is right, but it could be something a little bit different than just the usual Christmas model from Herpa Wings. But as I say, let me know in the comment section below what you think about this. It would be interesting to see what the community has to say about that. But with that, we have reached the end of today's episode, and if you have enjoyed this a little bit different review, then I would be very happy if you could leave a like, and of course, if you are new around here, you're always welcome to hit subscribe. With that, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.